Indentured servitude was the means by which an able-bodied labor force could be brought to work in the colonies of the New World. Indentured servitude was a form of debt bondage established in the early years of the American colonies and elsewhere. It sometimes was used as a way for poor youth in Britain and the German states to get to the American colonies. This is Indentured Servants in Plain English by Julia, Emma, and Kristen.
Indentured servants first arrived the decade following the settlement at Jamestown in 1607. The system of indentured servitude was born for the need of cheap labor. The 30 Years' War across Europe left many people without work. For this reason, half to two-thirds of the people who arrived in the New World became indentured servants.
Most indentured servants worked for 4 to 7 years in exchange for passage, room, board, lodging, and freedom. Because they could get a reward if they worked long enough, indentured servants were not slaves.
Indentured servants had to first survive the hard boat ride to the New World before starting their work. Many people died before they got to the New World.
A German slave spoke about the boat ride and said, "The smells, vomiting, various kinds of seasickness, fever, heat, scurvy, and cancer made the trip very hard."
Indentured servants included both men and women. Women were responsible for ensuring the smooth running of the household and providing the needs for their family. In the 18th century, colonists purchased many goods. Most goods were food products and clothing.
Indentured servants could be punished for a number of transgressions. As a punishment for running away or becoming pregnant, if you were a woman, your sentence could be extended. A pregnant woman would be punished for pregnancy because they were not able to work. Another form of punishment was being brutally whipped.
Indentured servants were sometimes better off than the free immigrants that arrived in America. This was because if they lived long enough to collect their reward, they would be given land and crops that a lot of immigrants had to struggle to obtain.
As the demand for labor increased, so did the price in America of indentured servants. It became harder and harder for masters to pay, house, and reward indentured servants.
Ultimately, the colonial elite transferred from indentured servitude to racial slavery because it was cheaper and the African Americans received no reward for their work.
Life as an indentured servant was hard and demanding. A person in the 18th century would not want this life, but it did have a few benefits after all the hard work.